what I've also noticed too is that, and I've had a conversation with many people. They're telling me that there's actually science behind it, that you can't be too lean in combat sports. Like I think that in combat sports, you have to kind of hover around like 12%, between like, I would say like between 10 and 15%. I think anything above 16%, you're being lazy. So don't use this as a justification that allowing you to be fat. Anything above 16 is basically, I think, is just, okay, you're not training enough. But like between like 10 and 15 is like the sweet spot where you're a little bit fat, you're a little bit soft. Fat is not the right word. Soft is really the correct word. And you see it more, at least on the jiu-jitsu side, you see it more in the younger athletes. Like the guys that are coming up that are like 16, you see the muscle structure and how they're built and how their body fat is. So the way the jiu-jitsu guys are built, they're built almost like wide. Their abdomen is almost like you have like a large midsection. So instead of like you seeing like it like narrow here, it's like our body structure gets almost like a square box here. And then you're lean, but you're not like crazy lean. And I think that's the combination of us folding ourselves in half. So your literally like body structure has to adjust, as well as we don't get too lean because you can't maintain that type of cardio conditioning.
No, you can't perform.
You can't perform.
The same thing, and I know it may be different between jiu-jitsu and football, but I have some of my football guys come in here, NFL guys, and they want to get lean. And I'm like, listen, this is not bodybuilding. Like, I understand you want to get lean, you want to see a leaner, lower number on the DEXA, but you have to actually get out there and perform as well. So we have to find that happy medium for you where you have enough fat on you to keep those hormone levels right, correct. I mean, it is fat, but it's necessary fat. You're not.
There you go. That's a better. It's necessary fat, guys.
Yeah.
If it's above 16%, it's not necessary anymore.
And that's another thing I want to talk about, because it really depends on what you're measuring on, because you're saying 10, 16%. So on a DEXA scan, and this shocks so many people that come in here. We had our leanest person got on here. He was like 2 days out from a competition, pro bodybuilder, ripped. Got on our scan and he was like, yeah, I'm 8%, like I'm stepping on, and it really struck down his mental, because the DEXA is the margin of error is 1%. So like in body, the little scans like this, there's still a margin of error. Very useful and still be used as a tool. But if you had a client that you've got with 10% come in here, they'd probably register like 16 to 18% on our machine. So I don't want anyone that's like, oh, I've done a DEXA and I'm 18% and he's calling me fat. So it depends on where you measure.
First of all, I didn't call anybody fat.
But there are people that come in here and they're like, am I fat? I'm like, listen, you're not fat, but the objective data says that you are over fat, and this is fat that we do not need. It's not necessary fat. So, there's a fine line between calling someone fat.
You don't run into that in people that do jiu-jitsu. They may start overweight, but if they go anything longer than a year, they're not gonna maintain being overweight. And that's across like ages. And like I've seen every walk of life walk into jiu-jitsu. And you see that from day 1 to day 365, it's a completely physically different man, because most of the jiu-jitsu guys are men.
Yeah.
A small percentage of women. Not that there's no women, but it's a much smaller. It's like a 90% man, 10% female.